think you jumped the gun, Mr. Iron Elemental. I can't replay that. Thank you for the generous dono. Yeah, I think if they come in before it's live, then like it doesn't show up in my Stream Elements replay. And you missed it by like 15 seconds, unfortunately. So, Iron Elemental donates a €10 super chat. You building you a nice BT Thank you very much for the generous dono, my guy. Yes, indeed, we are working today. Feels good to be back at it. I've been sick as hell for a while now. I caught the new strain of COVID going around California. It sucks. It's not as bad as it was last time, but it was, it sucked. Test it for latency. Latency test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 seconds off today. Alright. Sounds like the mic's a little loud too. I'll try to get that balanced out. What? I got green lights. I should probably pause that playback over here. Hold on. Everything's looking good on the technical end. You know, fingers crossed, Xfinity has come through the last couple days and have been doing major network upgrades in my area. They actually had it down for an entire day recently, and I called them about it. It was great because the automated bot was like, Xfinity technicians are in your area doing a network upgrade and will be unable to help you. Goodbye, and it hung up on me. And after like 4 times of it doing that, I got really, really fucking angry. So angry. So I called their mobile department and was like, billing, hook me up to billing. And I got on the line with a nice lady who was actually stateside, if you could believe it. I was like, hey, it's an entire day with no service. This is unacceptable. Can you prorate my account? And she was like, yeah, got you. And they gave me like $30 off my bill.
Oh, jeez.
So it was awesome. I'm missing one more thing. I need my phone. One sec. I gotta have the phone, of course, because I'll be doing a little filming. Also, you don't have a Popcat? I do have a Popcat. You do !redeem space POPCAT. I need to add a pop car in there as well. All right. Let me switch over the paint stream. Let's see. Oh, I gotta wait on the pop car. I think it's working. It looks okay. I hear music. I hear voice.
Well, you want to woo-woo? It's that woo-woo. You know what I'm saying?
Some neighbors are saying way too loud.
That's
Way too loud.
You supposed to be up.
All right. Speaking of way too loud, am I way too loud? It looks like I'm a little loud. I'm gonna try to modulate my voice here. The issue I'm having. The issue I'm having here, of course, is like if I come down too far on the microphone, I end up undercutting my voice and being too quiet when I'm speaking quietly. The man is Popcar. That is true. Well, welcome, y'all. Thank you for stopping through and checking out the stream today. We are back in the saddle right here on Country Fried Minis. I am your host, Cameron, the country boy in the big city, presenting once more from the Bullshit Corner 2.0. And today we're diving right back in on this happy little BTR project. Really looking forward to it. We're charging right along, and we're going to get this thing going for eventually a video. As some of y'all may know, Escape from Tarkov just released yesterday. I think it was yesterday. They're on 1.0 now. They're finally out. So we're going to celebrate that, get working on the diorama for that over the next few months. Also, to celebrate that, I'm planning on bringing back the Ice Cream Fiend streams late at night. I'm going to steal old ex-friend of mine's idea of 365 Days of Tarkov. Play a little bit every night at midnight PST. So if you are interested and want to see what PvE is like, I have a nice casual stream setup with occasionally friends of Country Fried Minis playing on it. But that will not affect and derail anything going on here on Country Fried Minis. We're still going to have shorts every day, mini projects in the works, lots of new things on the eBay store, and fun minis. Okay, so I was just looking back at the progress from 2 weeks ago, and it seems that the decision that we were at was to continue on into the turret today. So let me pop open Logitune. Let's get our Brio connected. And I gotta open this preview projector up. Yeah, we'll pop that open. And then start popping out parts. It's early mornings for you. Yeah, but it's Tarkov. So definitely not not the same thing as what's going on here. It will be video gaming, of course. But yes, if you felt like popping through and saying howdy in an early morning, that would be available, sir. Yes. I just want to cross over. It's a game that I love, right? So I want to try to legitimize and commodify my enjoyment of that, and also find a way to make a crossover into Country Fried Minis. Nine o'clock Tarkov stream, so might hang out there with a bunch of coffee. Yeah, we'll be. I'm thinking like 60 to 90 minutes a day, to really see. I love the idea of my once friend's 365 days of Tarkov experiment, and I want to dive in and try that out and see like where the game becomes shitty, like where the breaking point is, and if it still has something to offer when you're late in the experience, trying to find things to do. And of course it'll be PvE, so no cheaters, no nonsense, no shit talking, no people dropping racist epithets. Just me versus the AI hanging out with friends. Gonna start that January 1st to count the year. No, it's gonna be sooner than that. I was gonna try to time it with the release of 1.0, but they have been plagued with problems, which was expected. Every wipe they've had issues, every major update they've had issues, and they had really big issues with the deployment of 1.0. I think it was just yesterday. So I'm thinking tomorrow night will be the first episode. I'll go through the tutorial mission and dive into the game. We'll see how far it goes, and that'll be on the Ice Cream Fiend channel again. Anyhow, that's a lot of waffling and preamble. Today we're diving into some turret assembly. Last episode we got through step 14 here, so we're going to be going into 15, and it looks like we start by doing like the sub-assemblies of the turret. Did you guys hear that traffic just now? That man has a very tiny penis. Very tiny, so small. Okay, so I think maybe we gotta film some of this. So what we'll do to prepare is to go ahead and dig out the frames for this. So we need frame, looks like this is all E. There's an A here, so I don't know what that fucking means. A is I think that's it's a color. Okay, so nothing to worry about. Yeah, we're gonna dig into step 15. We need our E frame. Let's find E frame. That's B. I bet this is E right here. This is this says 3560E on it, so I'm assuming that's E. It just, the label looks different to all the other labels. That's A. That's B. That is B. Okay, it's got to be E. It's got an E on it, but the E is kind of here instead of the circled E like all the other ones have been. Okay, that's our frame. Let's get this out of the way, and let's get stuck in some nice relaxing assembly. some scraping of mold lines, some sanding, some texture. I don't think this one is going to need any texture. Is it? It might. All right. My voice is not quite ready. But hopefully the coughing isn't too bad. All right, so we're digging to, not there, part 15. What does this turn into? This is like the smoke launcher thing, so this is the center. Yeah, right there, 15. I guess this would need a little bit of texture, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's regard our part here. We need 15, 16, 17, 18. 15, 16, 17, and 18 is like the back panel. Which is right here. I think what we'll do is we put all this together and then we've got to do a little bit of texturing on it. So let's make sure we have our putty ready. We got our putty. We've got our putty dish. I got the putty brush. And I need my acetone. There we go, right there. All right, cool. All right, ready to dig in. Nippers. We need a hobby blade and possibly some files. So let's get those ready as well. All right. Somebody's dog is barking out there. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hear it. It's a very little dog. It has a squeaky voice. Okay, so to get started today, we've done our as much pre-prep as we can here. Let's get out our camera and let's fight the phlegm and dig out our camera. We're going to switch to Pro Video mode and start a filming. I can't remember if I was doing any of this with gloves on, and I don't really care. Okay, so we'll show to the camera that we're starting in on part 15. So we're going through and getting ready to assemble this thing. So we want to enumerate 15, 16, 17, 18, all of these. And we need frame E, which we'll show to the camera is frame E. And then we'll start nipping them off. So we want 15, 16, 17, 18. We also need 19, but I think what we're going to do is put together the body first and then texture it, and then we'll put on the caps afterwards to these, what are they, smoke launchers, I'm assuming? They look like to me. So let's get those going. I hope that's decently in focus. I actually have not looked up to see if it is or not. You guys will have to let me know if it's unwatchably bad out of focus. All right, so we got our parts. We got our parts together. Have this paper argue with us for a little bit. Looking fine. Okay, yeah. Dog saying "doo-dum," then I hear it. Oh no. It was like a squeaky, like a Jack Russell's Terrier or something. Let's clean up our part. It sucks too, because I'm a little conflicted with how much footage we actually want to capture here. And, oh, the dog's barking again. I think we're going to end up wasting a lot of footage and a lot of disk space with this project as we put it together. Unfortunately, model building is a slow and tedious process. So, without like a clear defined roadmap, step by step, it's kind of hard to predict like what I'm gonna specifically need to film. So we're just gonna film a whole bunch of it. All right, let's get that going. And we're gonna get out our extra thin, which the camera doesn't want to focus on. Please focus on this camera. It's like it unfocuses off of it. Yeah, okay. That only took 6 attempts. All right, so it looks like what we'll do is these bits get smashed together. Like that, maybe. It's hard to tell. The drawings on this kit are really bad. They're like really poorly angled. They show the part clearly, but they don't actually show the final orientation of the assembly effectively at all. Yeah, I can't see fuck all from that. This here. I'm so confused here. $16 is a mirrored version. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so this thing does not seem like it fits. It really does not seem like it fits. Yeah, there's hella gaps and like weird mismatched parts. I guess this is supposed to line up right there. My camera is not focusing on any of this either. So I think we'll start with this piece right here. Right there. This thingamabob. Kind of lines up back here. I just got a hellacious fingerprint in the plastic. We'll have to fix that with the boy, oh boy. We're bringing it back with the time attack. That seems like it's working. I think I want to give a second pass of the cement here. Try to melt those parts together. Alright, and then we need to fit this thing in there somehow. You maybe need tweezers for this. This thing is disgusting. If you the build go fast, just only film the stuff directly glued to the hull. I think that like I'm gonna end up doing a whole bunch of there's gonna be a lot of filming, just because I don't have a clear picture of what the video project is going to look like, right? So like I have to have a bunch of footage to work with. Everything else can just go pop. There it is. And yeah, and I think what we're gonna do is have do it night shift style with a three-parter. Like we'll do a video, like a 15-minute video of putting it together, and then like a pretty in-depth video of painting the models, or painting the tank, and then assembling the diorama. And I may actually do a full-length video on painting the dudes, because there's several involved. All right, this actually looks like it's going to fit nicely now that we got that one part lined up. Let me film this. The only thing that kind of keyed these parts together right here was that the curve kind of matches a little bit, and then there's a little cutout for this. I guess it's like a, what do you call it? It's not a tow hook. It's like a hoist attachment point or something. Where's my fucking house? Here, we could do this, and then maybe you guys can actually see what the fuck I'm talking about. This little curve right here kind of half-ass lines up. And now this guy goes on the front right here, and I think that actually fits really nicely. There's been an interesting blend of ease and shittiness in this kit. Some of the parts have been a nightmare to put together, whereas stuff like this seats beautifully. Of course, I say it seats beautifully, but after I put the cement on it, it like immediately warped apart. Alright, there we go. Let's get this boy nicely welded. There we go. I'm going to texture that immediately, so we don't have to do it later. So let's put the camera away. Let's get out a little bit of putty and get going. Of course, I just knocked the fucking tripod over. Alright, so we get our Tamiya Basic. This stuff's really good. Big recommend having it in your collection if you ain't got one already. I know you can achieve the armor texture with just cement, but this stuff is really nice. Really, really nice. And then we'll put a little bit of acetone in there. Maybe a touch more. We want this kind of thin. I want enough acetone to unlock these bristles. There we go. Guy ready. We just want to start sponging this on there. Looks like we actually maybe need a little bit of like gap filling here. That looks strange. But let's go ahead and start applying this stuff to it. I think maybe the putty here will help hide those problematic sections. And then what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna keep this ring kind of how it is, but texture all around it. And then right here, we'll use the putty to do a little gap filling, but we're gonna try not to affect that hole really at all. So that it just in case it's a really tight fit. the putty should do a lot of the gap filling for us as we build it up just a bit. We're really aggressively going to jab at the surface. Basically, we're going to puddle it on and then jab, 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 jab. Just to give a little bit of that surface. It's going to be really, really subtle in the end. Now, we do have a little bit of an issue right here that I'm none too pleased with. It looks like there's a bit of an overhang. Let's consult the book. Yeah, I don't think there's in the end meant to be an overhang there. So we maybe need to get like a thicker application of the putty. See if we have another sacrificial brush. We'll use this old, whatever size this brush is. And we're going to use it to like really thickly apply our putty mixture. Into those crevices. And then we'll sand that in a moment once it dries out enough to sand. Okay, so we can let this dry while we apply part E19. Which is going to be... Where's our 19s? E19s are right here. Watch out. So we need our nippers once more. One, the 2, 3. You guys know that reference? It's Tootsie Pop. It's Tootsie Pop now. Alright, see if we can clean this a little bit without cutting ourselves. Honestly, you know, I bet this part right here is small that we could probably smooth that connection point with some cement. And not worry about any kind of sanding. Alright, let's see what's this looking like. This wants another pass of putty real quick. Gotta be built up pretty thick, actually. I wonder if this would actually be like a good application for super glue plus baking soda to fill those gaps. It's weird. It's not really a gap so much as like an uneven surface that's gonna need to be sanded smooth. So we're gonna build this shit up thickly. I guess this is what the putty's for, though. Really. Yeah, let's get in here and start applying our little bits. Smells like mangoes and cucumber oil in here. I'm okay with that. I like mangoes and cucumbers. You know, it's funny, the Tamiya cement actually has like kind of a sweet smell to it almost. It's very reminiscent of nail polish, actually. Dude, this says danger, extremely flammable vapor. How flammable is this stuff? You can rub my mango in cucumber oil. Wait. Not stream hands above the table. You know, that's long been established around here. Here, how flammable is this stuff? How flammable is it? Let's find out. Where's my lighter? We just put like a drop of it right there. Does it just ignite? Yeah. Yeah, it sure the fuck does. Okay. Not flammable enough. It doesn't appear to be super flammable. It's surprising. It says extremely flammable. I don't think it's actually extremely flammable. It's quite flammable. Contains acetone and butyl acetate. Do not use near heat, sparks, or flame. Using a well-ventilated area. Well, actually, it is quite well ventilated in here today. It finally has cooled off here in SF. We got some rain last night. I actually slept really well for the few hours that I got to sleep. Longtime viewers would know that I sleep really well when it's raining, so quite thankful for that. Hey, look, an ad. Skip. I think we're gonna film this. What was I getting at? Oh yeah, because it was nice and cool, I've got the windows open and we got a nice cross breeze. I can feel it. No fan on today. Very nice. All right, so I actually want to show that we've got the putty, and then show we've got the putty, and then show that we're doing the putty right here, right? Mime it for the camera, and then show that the part is like not really even, like there's a misalignment, and that we're going to use our Army Painter file and start working it down until it's nice and even. Ooh. You know, I think it's kind of funny. This project is making me appreciate once more that Zabungle kit. And we will revisit that at some point. So long as there's a 3 times a month Scale Model Sunday happening. Better name than Gunpla Sunday. If you use that near an active volcano, the glue is going to be the end of the world. Ah, yes. You know, factoid, they invented that glue in Pompeii, and we all know that's fucking ridiculous. Nuh-uh. You can't even. Oh, jeez. What was it? Vesuvius? You tell me Mount Vesuvius was just like a reserve of Tamiya extra thin? We have a little bit of a gap issue right here as well. So we're gonna correct that as well. Let's get back out our acetone. I think there's enough putty on here that just a puddle of acetone should reactivate it enough to get it going again. Yeah, with a spark. Ah, yes. Yeah, look at that. This stuff is so fucking cool. So, is the Tamiya basic putty just basically sprue goo? More or less? Because it melts right back down in the acetone and becomes putty again. It would make sense this is some kind of styrene. So we're just gonna do the same deal we just did and start blobbing this on. This is unfortunately like really uneven right there. Yeah, we have some right here too that's pretty rough. Maybe a little too much acetone there, but it should start evaporating real quickly and get thicker post haste. We just need enough that when we go back in with the file, that it'll sand down smooth. Do I know anything about this BTR and know if this would actually have texture? Nope. Am I doing it because I want to? Yep. We're not tank nerds around here. None of that. I just know it looks cool. Alright, that's looking okay. This is almost even. We have a little bit of a problem right there. So I think we maybe actually need to build that back up and hit that one more time with a I guess the diamond tip, the triangular file instead of the big flat one. Get a little bit of a tighter access to that section. And I don't know if y'all can see, you probably can't, but there's like a pretty clear delineation of the panel lines there, and we need that gone. That's all got to be really smoothed out. Some idiot threw his electric bike in the Tamiya lava canal, but the battery was faulty. Wait. The fumes coming off of a Tamiya canal, I think your issues, your populace would have way more issues than just like the lava, right? Like you'd already be having serious respiratory problems. People will be passing out just from proximity to the canal. Of course, they do that anyways, but that's because of all the space cake. Actually, is space cake really a thing? The clear line could be filled with a weld seam too? That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Are you telling me I need to make a weld seam tool? And do some research about this tank? No, I don't think I'm going to go that far, Mr. Mental. It's a good idea, but the weld seams on somewhere. Was it this part? Yeah, this one actually has really nicely done weld seams. They're big and chunky and rough. Thank you, Nightbot. Research SME shirts, but adding details is fun. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Especially with the SME search part. Okay, so we're gonna start attacking these sections here. Just get them sanded down nicely. Oops, some of that putty is still wet on the back. Let's get this nice and smoothed out. Yeah, that looks way better. caught it. I caught it with my lip. This section right here, oof. Let's see how it sands down. Let's see what it looks like once we give it a little love. Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. Nice and smooth, solid chunk now. Now this guy, I almost feel like we need like a low RPM power tool here for this. That is nicely smoothed over now. That could be a really nice little weld bit there. I really don't know what to do about it. Do we add the weld seam there? Just because? Do we just do it? I'll me search your colon bees. No, don't give in to the bees, man. Don't give in to the bees. I did mention the bees in the last short, though. I don't know if you guys caught that. Okay. Okay. Let's just fucking do it then. Let's make a damn... Let's make a weld bead tool. I wonder if I have a material suitable for that. I think Mr. Man uses some kind of metal foil. Let me see a little strip of metal in here. In my old, I got this my case of junk. Fiddlecat was awesome. Fiddlecat was really fun. As soon as I saw that, I had to steal it. What can we do to make a weld bead tool? It needs to be thin. It needs to be sharp. Could we maybe make it out of pewter? Do you think pewter would hold up to that, or is the edge too soft? We could take one of these. You could take one of these paintbrush tip cup protectors. What other options do I have here? What other options? Let's see. Do I have any metal foil of any kind in here? Hey, Army Man. Will Army Man work? I don't think it will. I have this. That could do it. I don't know if I have the tools needed to bend it though. What the hell was that from? Think Titania would work? I don't think so. What else we got in here? What else do we have in here? I think that's our options. I think those are our materials. Alright, let's see if we can. I really want to try to figure out a way to make the Titania do the work. Because that's very funny. Redeem extra thick. Yeah, exactly. Could we carve out a section of Titania? I don't think so. It's got some crazy delamination going on. This is a failed print from, well, when we painted the thing to begin with. No, as funny as that is, I don't think I can make that work. I do have this steel, I guess this is like a scraper. I don't really have any like 10 snips though. I think maybe this thing might be our best bet, honestly. This might be our best option. Especially if we like slice it off at on a bias. And then hit it with a little cement, maybe, to melt it down real good. Soften it up. This material is maybe resistant to that. You maybe need to use heat. Uncle Nightshift used a soda can he curled up and glued to a paintbrush. I don't think I have any soda cans though. No, that curled the tip. Fuck. Let's soften this thing just a bit. Ooh, that might be working. That might be working. That might be working right there. And then let's get our kitty scissors and give this a snip on a bias like that. Maybe even take that tip off a little bit. So we got our, oh, can't see that. I need a handle now. Let's get a nice sacrificial handle. What about this guy right here? Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, I think that actually will work pretty well. Let's get some super glue in there, maybe? Pull the bristles out of a dead paintbrush. Thick ass paintbrush is long gone. I have more. I have many more. Alright, paintbrush. You have served us well in the past. You shall no longer serve us. But be reborn as a handle for my tool. Although, you know, my tool is a bit of a handle already. Okay. So we now have a suitable-ish, yeah. We have a suitable-ish tool to do some weld seams. Let's do some fucking weld seams. Where are we sitting at? We're an hour in. We're making bad time, but we're making time nonetheless. I think we're gonna go green stuff today. Let's get this shit going. Okay. So, what are we doing here? We're gonna mix up a little bit of putty. I'm gonna roll a little wormy dealy. And put it in position and then hug it a little bit, I guess. I'm making this up as I go, y'all. And with that, we will have finished step 15, a single step. And the beauty is here that we get to do basically the exact same fucking thing for part 16. It looks a little different. It looks a little bit different. Alright, is this green stuff green yet? No. Let's also get a reservoir of water for my fingies. Okay. So once this becomes green, it's almost there. Just about there. Just about there. Yeah. Alright, now we're going to make a really, really thin little snake. Make sure none of this stray hair ends up in it. I'm telling you, I shed so fucking much. Alright, so we need a very, 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 very thin rope of this stuff. Could even use just that right there. Alright, now I need my tweezers. Get that in position. And we're going to smush it a little bit so it sticks. Of course it won't stick because green stuff has a propensity to towards sticking to everything except what you want it to stick to. There we go. We've already got to try and maneuver it into position. There we go. Let's get our tool going. See what I mean? It's immediately stuck to the tool. Hey, Tiny Peepee Man just drove by again. His car is really loud, y'all. It's so fucking loud. Dude, it lets us all know that his dick is at least 37 inches long. Alright, let's get some weld bead action going on. It's still not stuck to the fucking surface. Holy goddamn shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Why does green stuff not stick to where you want it to stick? It's like... I swear, dude, it's like it specifically does not stick to where you want it to stick. Almost like it has an intelligence. Let's glue the goddamn thing on there. That's what we'll do. There. Eat my butt, putty. I will win out with solvents and chemicals. Alright. Now with it glued in position, we should be able to actually come in here and do some weld bead stuff. Aha. What's the saying? Better living through chemistry? Get a nice bead going on there. There we go. Man, when in doubt, glue the damn thing together. Let's clean up those edges. Got a really gnarly looking bead. We're gonna cut it down some. I got your number there, Mr. Putty Man. Okay. Kind of would like one up underneath all that as well. Oh, look. Chat broke because an ad played. What a surprise. Heard water makes green stuff sticky, and what oil is you need for your tools? Get those proprietary automotive paper tubes. Ah, yes. Automotive paper tubes. But wait, the paper tube doesn't address the issue of flammability. If anything, it exacerbates it. But not during the stream. Don't exacerbate during the stream. That's bad. Okay. So I think what we have to do here to make this happen is to get a little bit of super glue. Super glue. And we're going to trace it along here. Okay. And we can come in with our moistened tool. And have our putty not stick to the super glue. There we go. Okay. Let's clean this tip. I've been trying real hard to keep this current bottle of super glue with a very clean tip so it doesn't chunk up. I'm going to exacerbate whenever I feel like it. You can't stop me. Oh, God. Okay, so we need to cut down some of this putty. We don't need quite as much as we have here. And I can tell that it is not sticking despite the super glue. You fucking bitch, putty. Oh, you bitch. You absolute clown bitch. I know what to do. It's time for our best friend Super Thin. Let's get a little reservoir of Super Thin made up. A dribble went down the side. That thing is going to glue itself to my work surface. Hopefully not. Oh, there it goes. You fucker. You fucker, you. Get our super thin on the super glue. Alright, now quickly get this thing in position, which is immediately stuck firm to the tweezers, of course. Nice non-porous material. Sticks like mad. Press it down. and we want to cut off a bunch of excess here. Oh, and of course it peeled away. Absolute ass clown, but I fucking hate green stuff sometimes, y'all. It's maddening. If only we could figure out a way to make it stick to the intended surface instead of the tool. Maybe the secret is to use porous materials, and then that way it'll stick to the non-porous surface. Please stick to the goddamn model. Holy moly. Alright. Let's grab a little super glue and stick it in there. And then push the fucking putty up into the glue. There we go. And maybe now using the weld bead tool won't pull it off the surface anymore. Ah, yes. The secret is you have to glue your green stuff down. Because it is a smart-ass dickhead that will not stick to where you're trying to put it. No matter what you do. Unless you glue. Remember, whatever you do, choose glue. It's still like, it is still not sticking to the surface. Alright, fuck weld beads. I'm done doing this. This is fucking stupid. That's the end of that. Never again. Holy fuck. We just wasted like 20 minutes on that. All right, where were we at? Where were we? Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Gluing my fingers to the glue reservoir. That's where. Yeah, I'm done with weld beads. That's fucking dumb. You know, I just want to point out that whatever putty Mr. Nightshift uses on his videos never appears to lift off stuck to the tool he's using. Why am I on top messages? Thank you. Alright, let's do at least one more step today. We're going to pop out parts 11, 12, 13, 14, which are 11, 12, 14, 13. Bink, bonk, mork, bork. Let's get this one going. There we go, and there we go. Where is my hobby knife? Okay, so back at cleaning these parts up. I'm gonna remove those sprue connection points. That looks okay. Now this is interesting here. So somewhere along the way, the designer of this part thought it would be pertinent to have the ejector pin mark on the detail instead of the other side, which is internal. The ejector is here. I'm assuming it's because all these little fiddly diddly bits there. So we need to figure out some way to sand that. Wow, that's really stupid. That's like somebody didn't think when they worked on this thing. All right, what are we getting done today? Cutting down connection points. That's what we're getting done today. Alright, we got to figure out how to sand this now. I think it's going to be a matter of making a tool again. And this actually looks like my tool from last time that I had to do some spotty sanding. So we'll use it again. And I've got this nice piece of 320 grit. We'll use that. And we'll use our hot glue trick from before. I think he's pretty low. I had time crank it. Oh, your volume is low. Don't listen to Nathan. Your volume is 100% slow. I can tell you how full it is. I can see right there that like his normal talking has me just under the yellow peak. Yes. New window. Pop that back open. Get our glue going here. And we're going to grab some hot glue off the tip of that. And it just strings forever. Thank you, hot glue. You're very stretchy. It is wild. Thought we were talking about loudness. Well, both my hands are above the table. I don't know where you think I'm able to, you know, that other thing. Okay, so we got our little tool here. That was about that. Your quartz. So I guess the glue did not glue. Not even a little bit. Alright, thank you, glue. But I need you to adhere to the thing. So if you could kindly actually stick where I tell you to. That would be really awesome. Let's hold this for 60,000 years while it sets. You can see your input level, but the output is low. No. You're incorrect. You're incorrect. I can listen to it. I can just listen back right here. I can just listen back. You're just hoping that I panic. You're just hoping that I panic and knock something over again and suck more coffee up out of my neoprene mat. What you may be hearing as far as low is the low energy that I have while trying to feign enthusiasm during dead CFM streams. That's what that is. Actually. Alright, so we got a tool here. We got a little angled bit here, and we should be able to come in and start working this thing down. So the problem here is the pin mark right there is a little sunken, thanks to the nature of the deformation of the plastic. So I can't get in there with the hobby knife without shaving down the important details. But we can make a little tool and come in and swirl that till it's gone. And that seems to be working well. This kind of soft styrene sands very nicely. I should have filmed that. That would have been a nice little interesting bit. No, but when it goes to an ad, it blows my head out. It's because you have no control over the volume of the ad. It's full volume. What you should do is you should definitely not download Firefox and install AdBlock, uBlock Origin, so that you can watch streams on the mobile device without seeing any ads. You definitely shouldn't install Firefox and uBlock Origin. Yeah, that's just about right there. So now we kind of need a finer grit to get that working correctly.
Iron Elemental donated $11.63 super chat. Stream is dad. Make a dad joke.
Dad joke. Well, you see, I'm not a dad, so I don't have access to dad jokes. Definitely not when put on the spot either. No. I don't know dad jokes. I don't know jokes. I'm an unfunny man, sir. But you had a dad? I think I have a dad. Pretty sure. That's how it works, right? I think that's how it works, usually. So you can make a dad joke? If I had a dad joke, I'd share a dad joke, but I don't know no dad jokes, you know. I know that's a disappointing answer. But that is the answer. Alright, let's get... It's like the whole, have you seen that skit where the guy, like, goes up to the lady on the street and says, "Name a woman," and he's like getting aggressive about it, and they like can't do it because they've been put on the spot. Yeah, that's how my brain reacts to tell a dad joke. Of course, you know, I'm sitting here thinking and buying enough time to be reminded that sometimes you got to make little tools for doing the job at hand, just like your dad's little tool. That's a penis. Alright, so now we got a little piece of 1000 grit, and we're going to do the same thing to cut down the scratch marks that we ended up making, though I think we have a little too much material here, so I need to keep trimming it down some till it is suitably tiny for getting in tight spaces, just like your dad's little tool. Oh yeah. It's just about coffee refill time, y'all. Alright. Again, I should have fucking filmed that. If we end up having to remove another bit, and y'all catch it, please remind me. Film the interesting parts, not the boring parts. Alright, we get to play with some Tamiya Extra Thin now, which almost turned into a disaster. And that's going to be part E12. How does this go together? This is very strange compared to that last one. This actually like doesn't look like it really works. Yeah, this actually doesn't even begin to make sense. This doesn't even begin to make sense. I don't even for a second see how this works. This is fucking wild. Okay, so we maybe need to start with this piece in the back and get that stuck down first. Maybe drop it another 12 times. Because that does appear like it kind of keys together. It's got like a little notch here and then this flat area. I just went to get cigarettes and milk. Wait. But you're here. Doesn't make any sense. How are you here to let us know that you went to get cigarettes and milk? Alright, so this looks a little imperfect on the fit. We may actually need to modify some parts. No, you know what? It's close enough. We can do a little gap filling with the putty like we did last time. Let's just get that welded in there really nice. No weld seams though, because that was a fucking nightmare. It's a dad joke. Yeah, I see. He has one of the mobile telecommunication devices. You mean like Comstar? Comcast? What's dads, y'all? What even is dads? I'm pretty sure that has something to do with another Nate's Discord server. actually. Alright, this is not really fitting, but we're gonna do our best to make it work. Alright, now the front has to go on here as well. And hopefully, once we have all that slapped together, we're well able to like mush the parts together and make them fit. As it is, they're kind of all over the place. This has got some hellacious gaps. And then, not only does it have gaps, but I think this is like a surface detail that we need to preserve while we're doing our in-gap filling stuff. So we maybe have to be a little careful about the putty work. Dad's is root beer company. Wait, no shit. That's funny. Okay, so this needs to be filed. This needs to be filed. We have these like some pretty heinous gaps right there, but I think because this panel wants to stay elevated, there's like a hatch here that we maybe need to be careful about our putty work. And in fact, if anything, I want to come in here and maybe define that a little bit with our hobby knife. Right there. This is a really problematic bit. This detail is a little too soft. I know, like, there's some effort in keeping things in scale, but this definitely should have been exaggerated a little bit. Just a bit. I don't think it's really going to pick up detail later on. Anyhow, I think we're in a good position there, though, to dig back out our putty. And start to make that happen. We'll use our tiny brush, our tiny putty brush here. Unlock the bristles with the acetone. I'm going to keep this kind of thick while also remaining flowy. It's going to evaporate really quickly, so we also need to work with rapidity here. But we're going to kind of try to focus on the problem areas. Up here, in particular, over here, need some. This join, all the way down this side here. We actually need a little bit of filling here. I really don't know what to do about that. I think what we can do is gap fill here and then shave off any putty off the flap. So as we put this texture down, the the flap there won't have any of the texture, but we can just continue to use the armor texture as a gap filling effort. Okay. I think, of course, if this was full night shift style, we'd be looking at like scraping all these details off and then rebuilding them. All right. We're gonna start jabbing on some of the pressed in heavy metal texturing. But we're gonna avoid this panel right here and the little hinges. Put some real thick putty along that seam right there, because we're going to sand that down. Dad's also somehow gets the thing to work, and somehow you gain this power when the time comes. Yeah, that makes sense. You also got to do the what is it? The jean shorts and New Balances? Knee length jean shorts, of course, and white New Balances. It's the uniform, you know. I always thought it's funny when that whole like dad starter kit image was going around, and I'm thinking about my dad like mowing the lawn in his jean shorts and his white New Balances. Found that very funny. It's true. Things become stereotyped because, well, they exist. Okay, so we need some more thick putty at the top here. And there we go. And this thing should be ready for sanding here in just a second. I wouldn't go 2 night shift until you built a few. That guy's a psychopath in all the good ways. I don't think I'm ever headed there, to tell you the truth. There's a few elements that I'd like to incorporate, but this is not really a scale model channel. We'll see. We'll see how BTR performs once it turns into video. Let's see, what's our method here to sand this? I think we have to use the side of this tool, or maybe we can use this thing. That's working kind of nice, actually. That was another golden opportunity to actually film something that I just squandered on getting it done. I suppose I have shitty unwatchable footage here from this camera though that we could dig into. If the shorts have shown me anything lately, like fine detail about what is actually happening isn't as important as having some footage to talk over. Sand that down. That's looking decent. That's coming together. We can use our file here. Get that smoothed out. And we'll do the same right here. Yeah. I am pleased. That came together very swiftly. Alright, so now we need 3 more number 19s. Plus his best techniques are all on the painting side. Hammerhead or Plasma or more build oriented. Yeah, that makes sense. I do love a Plasma Especially seeing like how his humor has developed in his later work. The intro to his stealth fighter build is peak Plasmo. Alright, so once again we gotta clean down these little tiny bits, fiddly boobs. How about this one as well? It's really tough. These are tiny parts. It's such a sneaky plane. So sneaky it ain't even there. Alright. So, we're going to put a little bit of cement and we'll install our cap. And then we'll do it again right here. Assemble our cap. And one more. A little cement. Install our cap. We're going to come back in, just a little bit of cement on each one. Just make sure those joins are nice and welded. Very nice. So now we've got 15 and 16 put together. Feeling good about that. So let's put some check marks down. That's 15 is done. My pencil is dead. So we need to fix that with some long cuts. Get our point back. I do prefer the Lincoln cut on my pencils. Although this knife is maybe not the best for it. I think a razor blade would be a little better. That nice long ass tip. God damn it. Oi. Why? Why you gotta be so hard to sharpen? You know, I should maybe just keep a fucking pencil sharpener at the desk. This hobby knife is exceptionally dull for being so sharp. Alright, that's good enough. Let's do that instead of trying to cut it right. Let's just cut it to where it works. I'll take some more time to shave some down. Alright, so we're going to start in on number 17, which is still E-frame entirely, it appears. So we want E 33, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So we're starting down here. What even is this part? I think this is the tank, like the main cannon barrel. Not the barrel, the housing. So we want 31. Let's grab 31. Let's grab 32. Let's grab 33. Let's grab 34. Let's grab 35, and 36 looks like a little tiny fiddly bit. I don't even see it. Yeah, that's a really tiny part. We'll maybe wait on that and pick it up after we get the box assembled. Where's that dull ass hobby knife? There you are. It's not actually dull. Just too dull to cut wood. Alright, we'll clean up these parts. This has actually got some like mold line stuff going on. So we're going to take our flat diamond, our triangular file here, and just smooth that feller out a little bit. And this other side has a similar issue. Okay, continuamos. Let's do the same thing here. Let's remove this mark. Does this also have that weird mold line thing? Nope, not really. There is an interesting join line from where two injection sites have come together. Sand that now. Okay. You can just use a little scraping, I think. Just a little bit right there. Same here. Same here. I cut way too deep into that just now. Shit, fire. Let's fix that. Okay. I've got two more parts to be wasteful with blades. Yeah, exactly. Dull blades are the leading cause of knife injuries. It's fine. It's not dull, like, just too dull for cutting wood. Though, I bet you if I tried to cut my wood with it, it would, cut well. Because that is soft and yielding flesh. Unlike your dad's wood, which is rock hard. Like literally as hard as a rock. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna fill my coffee. Yeah, but you'll end up screaming a lot? That's true. That is true. I'm going to fill my coffee and pop back down. I'm going to take 15 seconds to stretch my back. And we're going to assemble part 17. I think what we'll do is we'll do 17 and 18. We'll go through these steps right here, and then we'll film assembling 21 right here. So we'll do these bits, we'll film that, and then we'll get these done, and that's our show for today. And that'll set us up for next weekend to do 1 through 5 right here. All this stuff. So give me just a second. I'm gonna fill this coffee cup. BRB. Would I end up screaming? Could I shave my wood without screaming? That's a good question. Drinking the coffee. It's so good. Thought I cut myself for the first time in a year cutting celery last night, and my knives are very sharp. Got hung up in the cutting board and threw off the rhythm. Just a tiny kiss. So much bleed. Oh yeah, dude. Those, especially on the hands. You'd think that hands are powered with anime blood rules. You know, 100 gallons at intense pressure. Just a tiny kiss. Little kiss. Just a little peck. Take off about 15 layers of skin. Okay, so we've left off part 36 because it's fiddly diddly. It looks like 32 and 33 will just go together as our first step. 33 is this bottom bit, and then 32 just goes together. It doesn't really fit. Yeah, it does. Okay, you just got to give it a little force. Break the lock if it don't fit, you know? I think that's a penis thing, but that's never an issue I've had to deal with. Like your dad's monster hog. I think this is going to require some gap filling here. Let's see, what's this part then? This guy should sit on the front. That'll cover the gap. Where does this end up sitting? This will end up sitting with this stuck in. So I do think that this seam is going to be exposed. Yeah, this is going to require gap filling for sure. Anyhow, let's get this front real gooped up with cement. And we're going to come in with this thing. Stick that on the front. I think we actually left a piece on here that needs to be removed. Yep, a little bit of a gate got left on it. Let's come back in with another attempt at this. Should go on probably less smoothly this time, but it's fine. All right, so now we want E34 on the back, and it looks like it's gonna fit nicely. The parts almost look like the hinges are realistic. So we're just going to come in with, really flood that surface there. And smush all that together. I really want all that plastic to really get on there, get assembled. It's a nice solid piece. Alright, and now this top bit goes on with the it's got nice keyed holes. Okay, sick. Do the same deal. Just gonna really flood this surface so we have this nice and mushy. That way when we press this part together, we can throw it down a couple times. I think this like doesn't really line up well. I think this part needed to be like a little bit longer. It's fine though. It's good enough. We'll do the gap filling. Now we need part 36, which is a little tiny handle. Very tiny little piece. And see, the knife was sharp enough for that. Sharp enough for that for sure. How does this thing go on? Ba-na-na-na-na. It is not clear at all. I actually think there's no king here. I don't think there's any keying for this part. Okay, now this is a fiddly detail. Something that is definitely going to break. Alright, so put a little bit of cement down, and we're going to come in right there. That is fiddly little part. Fiddly diddly bits. Okay. I think that is a part together though. We did bend this thing a little bit, but I think that's okay. We can deal with that later. We need to fill this gap though, and I think that's our next step here. We're gonna get a little more putty. Start working in on that. A little more acetone. Don't need much. Enough to unlock the bristles first and mix in that putty. So I think this part we can leave the gap there, but this one needs to be filled there. That needs to be filled. This needs to be filled. We put a little texture on this. I don't think it needs a lot though. It's got these surface details that are need to not like obscure too much. So we're just gonna put a little bit here, and then like all these little flaps and stuff. I don't think there'd be a ton of texture on this part. All that stuff down there, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna come in with our flat file, and we're gonna start. Nope, we're actually gonna use our tool here and get rid of that seam line right there. I need to remember to film something about this, but honestly I don't think we're gonna have another opportunity. I think I missed a really good opportunity to film making and using this tool. That's fine. I could always just shoot it in the end. Okay. That is part number 17 done. So let's put a mark there. Let's do 18 real quick. 18 is also E parts, so E 38, 37, and 44. So we want that's 38, 37 right there, and 44. That's all three of them. Okay. Oh, excellent. Excelente. Let's get this thing assembled. All right. That has 3 connection points. Go ahead and pop that out. Same deal as before. We're going to come in and clean it up with the hobby knife. It's wild. Some of these parts are so tiny that like the camera is struggling to really capture any of it. And it is zoomed in as far as it goes. Alright, that's cleaned up. This guy's got a little bit on the edge there. And a little bit on this edge here. Alright. And then this feller's got some right there. and right there. Okay, so looks like we have very straightforward assembly. This guy lines up with this guy here. Interesting that there's like it's like a gap thing happening, and I'm not so sure there should be a gap. I need to maybe refer to artwork. I don't think there's meant to be a gap there. Making up the instructions was a game changer for me. Expecting 2025 Bandai instructions is naive. Yeah, I think they could benefit from some better drawings. I think that whoever did the drawings like focused on like rendering the part somewhat accurately to the piece, but didn't like actually really touch on alignment and assembly, which is arguably more important than an accurate representation of the bit. Okay, so this whole little gap thing here, it's crazy because I think the gap is supposed to be there, but like the gap between this cap and the body should be there, but then these little like pegs sticking out should be touching. So I'm having to make a judgment call here and file this smooth. So we're going to get rid of the gap in favor of making these parts connect. Which sucks because that does look like a fun little detail. Have that that little space between the cap and the body of whatever this thing is meant to be. I'm assuming some kind of light or like a targeting device. And if we spin it, it should eventually sink into position. I think we hit maybe like the best of both worlds there. So I don't know if that's ever gonna sit smooth, but it now looks plausible that these parts have like bolts sticking through them, and I think we're just gonna go with that. That looks good now. So let's give this some cement and try to line up our flat side. It's gonna go right there. And give it a little wiggle till the bolt caps kind of line up. And then this thing also has a keyed side, so it is also going to just sit nicely, and we don't have any bolts to worry about lining up, so we can just slap down some cement and put that thing on in there. There we go. Try not to get too many fingerprints in the plastic. Alright, so that's 18 is assembled. Let's check that off. We're going to do 19 now, which also looks like it's full of little fiddly bits. I think Zvezda is a bit on the lower end of quality, but they have all the fun Russian toys. Yeah, exactly. No, they aren't supposed to touch. There's a two-part clamp. It's called a flange. Yeah, but so this is the case in point of where the drawings are wrong, right? So this is telling me it connects via this part to that part, but these parts don't touch. And then right here we see that this is a single assembled piece, but there's actually a gap there. So this is poorly illustrated. This should just have an arrow there if there's meant to be a gap. I think the artist did a bang up job of replicating the parts, but like didn't actually get the intended final results represented well. Flange. I like a flange. I'm a fan of flanges. Alright, so we want 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 20 through 26. 20 through 26. Where's my nippers? Okay, so let's locate 20. There's a 5 in here. Where have I missed a 5? We ain't even touched on 5. We do want 20 though. There's 20. 20 is right here. Let's get 20. I mean, you know, this has been low quality experience, but the assembly has not been a low quality experience, right? This has been tremendously fun to do, except for a few points where it's been very challenging, but I think that's part of the fun, right, of putting together a model. Getting a nice blend of ease of assembly and problem solving. There's 24, 24, and we want 25, which was somewhere. 25, where are you? That's 28, that's 8, 40, 29, 27, 5. Dude, there's 25. That maybe needs to stay on the sprue until I'm ready to use it. Look how tiny that fucking part is. Where's 26? 26 is also really tiny. I think this is a bit that would really benefit from what do you call it? Photo etch parts. I think traditional model is all about the difficult parts. The goal is high quality rendition of real subject and imagery. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's one of the goals. I think the overall goal though is to enjoy the process and to be satisfied in the end. I kind of feel like, all right, so painting is all about the final product. Painting's all about the final product, right? Like, the process of painting often sucks and is tedious and is not fun. I think with a model, like, you can have it be about the final product, but I don't know, something about putting together a scale model just feels to me that it's more about the process. Like, that's where it's actually at. Alright, I think this needs to be shaved down, so we're gonna get in here and try not to cock it up too bad. Like that. Clean up where we just screwed up. Our gun barrel has a very tiny little bit of connection material that we're going to shave down. There we go. 2 more pieces here. Dude, there's a lot of parts on this kit that the injection side is like right on top of a detail. Funny. And then this guy, it's a little shaved off right there. A burr. And a little bit right here. Alright, we're nearing another filming step, which I'm really looking forward to. Just slapping things together. Okay. So I think we start with E22 here. And maybe E23 right here. Yeah, that looks like a really nice join. So we're gonna start with that right along the side here. And then that really appears to interface super nice. Yeah, that part goes together super well. This guy lives I think like that. Yep. Okay. So I want to get these keyed bits and then interface those pieces nicely. This one's going to have a little bit of gap filling too, I think. Yeah, that gap is especially bad. Alright, E21 on top. So it goes kind of inside here and along the top of that. Let's get this in there. Come on, Meow. Need you to not fight me on this. There we go. Oh, that's a heinous gap. That is a fucking heinous gap right there. That's real bad. Good, I almost feel like that might be a job for... I don't really know. I guess more Tamiya putty. And then this thing, the flat end goes down. There we go. We'll get that going right here. And I think we maybe need to do the gap filling before I try to put on part E25. Yeah. That is fucking heinous right there. That's so bad. That's fucking atrociously bad. Okay, putty time. Is that gap covered in a later step? It might not even be relevant. No, I think it is very exposed. Yeah. It might actually be... Let's see. Yeah, it's really exposed. It's very, very visible. That sucks. Okay, let's set aside our gun barrel and we'll do 20, 25, and 26 here in a bit. But we gotta fill these. We gotta fill this gap. Got to fill this gap, and I think we maybe need like a thicker but more precise application of the putty, maybe. I think we'll switch to a toothpick. Switch to a toothpick instead of the paintbrush getting it everywhere. You're very exposed? No, not really. I have very tiny gym shorts on today. Yeah, let's get in here and try to be a little more precise about the application of our putty. Kind of want it to fit in there on its own accord, you know. Get this down there. Then we'll sand it. You know, for all the work we've done with the armor texturing, I think it's interesting that this bit here kind of strikes me as maybe not so important to have it. Like, I'm sure that there's cast pieces here, but they're probably not like super heavy, or like there's probably a certain bit of like precision in their production that you wouldn't have on like a large piece of cast armor. They are the fiddly diddly bits. Alright. One more pass right here. Let's get that gap filled. And then we'll come back and sand it. Do another pass right here as well. Now that this stuff is starting to thicken up. Okay. Should be ready for sanding immediately. I'm going to use our tool again. That is not quite ready for sanding. What about right here? Not quite. Oh shit, that's a bad gap right there. Wait, what? Rolled a 69. Where was it at? Rolled a 29. Need a little bit more acetone in there. Let's bring that back to life. This will buy us a little time. We can fill this gap while preparing to sand the other parts. Okay. Hopefully this is ready for sanding. It seems to be. Sand that part too.
Well, you want to woo-woo? It's that woo-woo.
It is that
You know what I'm
woo-woo.
saying?
ain't it?
Some neighbors are saying way too loud.
That's only in the morning. You're supposed to be up
Dude,
cooking
imagine
breakfast or
actually having
somebody,
that
and so
logic.
That's like an alarm clock. Woo-woo.
You can't complain about my noise because you should already be awake. What an asshole. He definitely doesn't realize he's being an asshole. But I don't think anyone out there would assume Bub Rub is a beacon of intelligence, you know?
Okay.
You got time to duck?
You got time to duck?
Boom, boom, boom. Dude, is that all just hitting all at once? That's funny. Burritopia? Dude, I could go for a fucking burrito. been a little while since I had one. Might pick up the stuff to make burritos today while I paint on Derek's Devils all day. Where are we sitting at? 2.5 hours? I think we're gonna get to the 3-hour mark to finish this up, and that's just about right. I'm quite pleased that that's been like a really
but you do work out.
satisfying
Give me 10.
Okay.
amount of time for these.
Bye, everyone. She can go on forever.
Thank you for the push-up, sir. Okay, let's see. Does this part have an orientation? Yes, it does. Yes, it fucking sure as hell does. So, I'm gonna come in with our extra thin. Stick that in there. Get our orientation correct on this part. Should have drilled that barrel. I should have drilled that barrel before trying to do this. It's alright, I'll do it later. My favorite bum is out there yelling for Ross again. He actually woke me up today at 5 a.m. yelling for Ross. Oh, this sucks. This thing is gonna droop until that Tamiya sets up. Redeem Angry Man Smash. Redeem Fuck This Airbrush. Yeah. Honestly, if I could get away with smashing that man in the face with an angry airbrush, I'd do it. I hate that man. He's a goddamn terrorist. Dude, is this just gonna keep drooping? When is this gonna set? That's insane. I need like an insta set. I think it's steady sinking into the plastic. This is crazy. Are you gonna set anytime soon, mister? the answer is no. And we're going to remove all this and we're going to redo it with super glue. Because that is just never setting. What the fuck? All right. Get that set to where it actually sticks. All right, and then I guess what I can do is to maybe apply some extra thin later in a small amount. Okay, that's good enough. And now we need a little tiny piece. We need that part 25 right here. It's like a millimeter across. So we're gonna do that whole slice with the hobby knife thing. And then proceed to promptly lose the thing. I think this may be a job for our good old friend Extra Thin. Let's get our Extra Thin again. Put one drop in there, just a tiny bit. Tiny bit of Extra Thin. And we need to not do that. So we need to get the part in such a way that it won't ping off. Okay. Dip it in our Extra Thin, which has already attached itself to the... It immediately, like, the part is so small that the capillary action sucked a meniscus of super glue in between it and the tweezers. So let's try again. This is a really great opportunity to work on summoning Zen, because this part, like the tiniest slip of my hand, and this thing is going to ping off into another dimension. The amount of glue here is also like, it's like it's already cured by the time it gets to the surface. It's insane. Well, it's gone. It's gone. You bitch ass part. You fucking, like, come the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The fuck am I supposed to do here? The glue is dried before I get to the surface. So super glue is not going to work here. Maybe gel super glue is going to work here. I don't fucking know what to do. This is insane. Let's get a surface here so we can dip it in that. This is definitely one of those situations where it'd be far better to bend this piece yourself out of metal. I got it a little misaligned, but I'm not even about to fuck with it. Okay, so now that it's in place, I think we could probably take our extra thin and use the capillary action that was fighting us so hard earlier. All right, so that's part 19. Part 19 is done. Set that to the side. We're gonna put a check mark on that if I could find my fucking pencil. All right, 19 is done. 20, we require E29, E27, and E43. Let's find those parts. Another Nate, is hammer fight black and white, or can I use color in either a limited or unlimited capacity? I don't have an answer for that. Bark, 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 bark. Wow. Where's my fucking nippers? Maybe that hobby blade is dull. Okay, so honestly, this whole bit here seems arbitrarily complicated, and I think this is a part. This is like a sub-assembly part for the sake of being a sub-assembly, because this thing would absolutely cast in a single piece. Let's try to clean up these connection points here. Maybe without marring the thing too bad. This does have a heinous mold line inside of it. Where are we sitting at? 235. All right. Now, is this going to be a... Is this going to be a Tamiya assembly? I think the answer is yes. Oh shit, I missed the mold line on the other side. Okay. All right, so let's clean this thing up, and we're just about there. Just about there. Okay. Let's do... What is that? E30. There's a weird looking part here. What is E30? E30. I don't see an E30. 30 is right there. It's got like I think it goes on after this thing gets assembled, so we'll worry about that in a moment. Let's do this here. Let's get this thing stuck together. This thing is actually doesn't fit, so we need to shave this whole band off it. So like looking at the drawing, this lip right here exists, but it's, for one, it's way too small front to back, but it's way too big around the diameter, around the circumference. Yeah, around the circumference. It doesn't actually fit in the part where it's supposed to fit. So we're just going to remove it. All right. Soften up that plastic and press it home. It's another part that I should have just super glued, because it is not. It's like so thin and fiddly that the gravity is going to cause it to droop before the fucking extra thin sets. All right. That is good enough. Let's do... I mean, I ruined this part with fingerprints pulling it apart, unfortunately. So now we've got another set of little tiny fiddly bits. We need E41, 39, and 40. So there's 41. Holy shit, those are tiny. Those are tiny parts. Jesus. It's almost indistinguishable from the little, like, bits of scraps on my desk. Okay. So this gets cut down all the way to the flat. Ow. It's just the 3 parts. See if we need to shave any of it, because I bet you we do. This usually seems to be the case about this. Yes. And then these parts do not look at all like the drawing, not even a little bit. So I don't actually know how to assemble these. I think fuck. This is insane. Insanity. Okay. Need a goddamn microscope here. So I think this part connects like that. Yep, that's what it looks like. So we're gonna grab our gel super glue and we're gonna promptly fuck up. And reapproach it right there. This is bonkers. Need smaller fingers for this. I've already learned that if you try to tweezer this, then the part pings off into another dimension, of course. I apologize that I'm not able to like actually really get this on camera because these are very tiny little fiddly doodads. I'm more focused on just trying to get it to go on there. Okay, that's assembled. And then this thing should have attachment points, but they don't actually. I need 3 hands for this. So now we're going to put a little bit of cement on either side of that. I'm going to try to attach the thing. And then of course my fingers are stuck to it. Alright, we got one in position. Get this other one in position now. I think that did it. I need tweezers to actually grab the fucking thing, it's so tiny. That is not connected. He's just gonna yell Ross until Ross comes down. I hate that man. Y'all, like, I know it's not good to hate people, right? But I hate that man. Long viewers of the channel know that that man has been a scourge in my life for like a fucking year now. Please send help. Alright, so this now will go on to here, you know, after I drop it. My hands are shaking trying to put this fucking thing together. This thing is supposed to sit on this little attachment point here. Yep, it sure is. I think it's another one of those situations where the Tamiya cement is gonna fuck me over. like, because the part is so small, it's just gonna melt instead of sticking. All right, so we'll take this and we'll figure out where our part is. And we'll put out more super glue because obviously you need a giant puddle. And there we go. Nice little bit of bit. Well, I hope that's lined up because it immediately cured. It's a little off center, but it's gonna have to do. I ain't about to try to reposition that. We'll take our super glue again and jam it in that hole, and then we can put our gun barrel in, which is still not cured. It is still bendy from the Tamiya. Okay. I mean, that's as good as it's going to get right there. We shave down some of the fingerprint marks we made. All right, so that's going to move us on into... Oh no, we need part 30 real quick. Part 30 is this fun little doodad. If I could find my clippers. Let's do right here. That goes on the side here. And it looks like it actually faces outwards, which is weird. And I think we can maybe get away with the cement on this part. So let's put it in place. I wonder what this bit is supposed to be. It seems a little odd. It's like an exhaust port sticking outwards. Okay, so that does have us done with part 20 and 21, and now we're going to do part 22 right here. 22, 23. And then I'm gonna call the stream. All right. I think maybe we'll do all this. We'll do this section and this section. Put the lower half of this part on and then assemble 24 and film that. Or you know what, fuck it, I'll just film it right here. Let's just film it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. So now we're going to do 22. So we're going to show this to the camera. We need E42. We're going to find our 42 piece, which is this one right here. We're going to cut that thing out. Focus camera, please, for fuck's sake. Alright, so this now goes through part 15, which is this one. Bark, 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 bark. Someone's dog is just fucking a menace out there. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Alright, so we're gonna get our extra thin. And we're gonna coat this thing down. And I think what we'll do is we'll thread this first, which is already like sitting in a weird orientation. Oh, I guess because I used the cement, it like melted the hole. Alright, and then this guy goes together and the camera won't focus. What's the problem? It's this. This is the problem. And then I think I'd like to keep this like posable, but it's such a loose tolerance that I think it's just gonna like float around kind of. So let's make sure to get that in the wrong position. All right. Come on now. There we go. Oh, I broke 30. I broke part 30. Why wouldn't I break part 30? Let's put 30 back on if I could find my tweezers. Alright, part 30 is back on, and I dropped the goddamn thing. Okay, so that's section 22. So we now need to do section 23, which we'll show again to the camera. We want E3, E2, E1. So we'll pop this part out. E2, E1. I guess this is on the floor is what it is. E1, and then we want E3, which is this part, I guess. Looks like the right shape. Okay. We're going to have to do a bare minimum of cleaning there. This is an internal part, so nobody's ever going to see it, but we do want it to sit flush enough to function. All right. And then this thing probably needs a little bit of love right there and right there. We don't worry about the pen marks. They're not going to matter. But this thing does need to go in here. And this is one of those parts. We'll use these connection points on the inside to kind of line it up. Seems correct. Let's flip it over and see how well lined up we are. We're decently lined up. I think it's going to be good enough. Judging by the tolerances on this thing so far, I imagine that will be fine. Alright, and then this thing goes inside of here. Like so. Just going to get it in position, and then we're going to give it a little tappy down of extra thin. Make sure it's in position. Get it good and welded. All right, that's part 23. So now you get a bunch of little bits that go on this thing. So we want a whole bunch of E parts. I think we'll just maybe do these one at a time. And make sure to drop it off the table onto the ground to never be found. Cool. Very, very fucking cool. It is this part. Okay, it didn't hit the ground. Excellent. I can't tell what the detail on it, though. All right. All right. So, with that in mind, this thing faces that direction. And then E28 is going to sit right here. Facing outwards. It's at a weird canted angle too. I think this is maybe poorly molded. I don't know, maybe once it's all put together, it'll make more sense. There's another E8. Let's try to not lose this one. There we go. Another E8. And then that's going to get the same treatment facing outwards on the back. Right here. Get it lined up and put into position. I wanted to film this, but with the parts pinging off, I think we'll put all the green bits on and then glue this together and film gluing this together is what we'll do. Okay, so next is E6. E6 is right here. I think E4 has to go on first, maybe. Okay, let's cut that down. Alright, how does E4 go on? E4 has this little, like, panel sticking up. And it looks like it goes right here. Yep. It does indeed, and it looks like it's going to fit nicely there too. It doesn't quite fit. I guess because it's like a flat panel going onto a curved surface. So it definitely does not work. This is gonna be a like close enough part because it definitely does not fit. Let's hold it down for a second. A Xeroxine. Yes. Alright, now we want our E6 part, which is this guy. Pop you free on both sides. There we go. $304. We're right on time, actually. Alright, this has some weird holes in it. I don't think these holes actually connect to anything. I wonder why they're there. I imagine it's to the interface with part 5? No? So we're going to put a blob of that down, and then we're going to set part 6 in place. There we go. Now we want part 5, which has some pretty gnarly flashing on it. If I could find it again. It's right here. Yeah, not super gnarly. There's a little bit though. So we're just going to do the reverse scrape technique. Remove that flashing. And then there is a little connection point that we're going to shave down. Right there. And this guy goes in reverse. So we're going to apply a little bit there, a little bit there. Make sure to get some extra thin in position. And we're going to set this part where it wants to live. Right there. And then I think what we'll do is to come in with a little extra thin. Not a ton, just a bit. And kind of leak it into these gaps. So this thing lives there forever now. Too much. Just a little bit. We just want a little bit there. Alright. I think that's good. Let's dry fit this first. So this guy's gonna live right here. E9 sticks back here, and I believe is gonna interface with this gun. Or something. I don't know what it actually would interface with. It has to interface with the gun. That's funny. That means this thing doesn't actually rotate at all. You can't position this thing, not without custom scratch building some parts. That's silly. They could be present in the real world machine, or the compatibility with accessory kits, other loadouts. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is, Mr. Nate. Or like like if you bought a off-market, aftermarket, what do you call it? Like a interior detailing kit for that part, maybe. This, though, is something I'm finding really interesting. Oh, come the fuck on, really? I'd clipped you, brother. This part right here fully defines the position of our cannon. And I don't like that. Don't get any customizability here. Because this thing's got to sit here. Meaning our cannon just does what it's told. Which is a little lame, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay. But on that note, what we'll do is we'll get our parts ready. We'll get our parts ready. We'll go back to Pro Video mode. Go on back in. Hit the record button. We'll show the camera that we're working on this right here, and that we're using E9, and that we'll hold this up for the camera. We'll maybe even do a little bit of sanding on it. And we'll get our extra thin. Show the camera our extra thin one more time. We're going to put this thing down and set this in place, and kind of half-ass use that as an opportunity to talk about how in the video how we can't customize the kit so much because it's got a defined angle of operation. We're gonna come back in with this. Oh fuck, that's bad. I maybe just got not even maybe, I just got a whole bunch of extra thin on that axle, so it's gonna be locked in place either way. So we're going to press this home here, and we're going to break our model, trying to put it together naturally. So why wouldn't we? Press that down, stick it in position, And get our extra thin again. Glue that. Glue this. And then we want this part here. Bam, like so. And we'll stick this together right there. And it doesn't quite fit. There's a whole bunch of gaps that really need to be filled. That sucks. So much gap filling. That's a fucking gnarly gap. It's a gigantic gap right there. It's like 0.5 millimeter. Okay. And then this thing broke, so what we'll do is we're gonna get out our MaxiCure, show it to the camera. We're going to get our toothpick. We're going to come back in and reapply our super glue to where the thing broke off of. We're going to try to get this in position. Get it on there. It's a little off center again, but it's on there good enough. But with that, we have our little turret is assembled with only 3 hours of work. It is an inanimate object. They aren't famous for their agency. Yes, that is true. That is true, sir. I really don't like the gaps here. They're pretty fucking heinous. But you know, honestly, I don't think they'll be a huge deal. But that is our turret assembled. Our turret is done. That is progress. And that should... Oh man, it's off center. We're going to set this thing up to where it actually goes inside this hole. Alright, and then we're going to pop this thing back out. Nope. No, we're not. We're going to make sure it fucking stays together as we push it out. That's what we're gonna do. Try again. One more time here. I'm gonna line this up to where it actually fits in the hole. We actually need to shave these things. I was just gonna say, oh, and our turret's done, and then stick it on there, and then it actually was off center by a little bit, just a little bit. So let's hold this in position. Let's make sure our underside is nice and juicy, sticky. And we're going to set our key in position. And we're going to pull it out. And there we go. We have our thingamabob done. And I think that's solid for today. 3 hours to do this. We still need to do some gap filling. I don't know how much of that I'm going to do, to be honest, at this point. There's a lot of like really bad gaps in this model, and I've got to wonder how much of it is going to show up in the final paint job anyways. Like we could even talk about like, hey, don't necessarily try to be a pro. Just do the thing and have fun. You know? Something like that. Anyhow, though, I need to get some lunch, and I've got to paint models. I got to paint. Got to paint. So I think that's what we have for the stream today. Big thanks to those of y'all who stopped by and hung out. Really appreciate you. If you caught this by the algorithm after the fact, let me know in the comments down below. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, same place, with more work on this BTR 80A. We've got a whole bunch of greebling to do on top. So next session we're doing all this, and then all this, and then all this, and then all this, and all of that. So ton of work left to go. This thing gets detailed up next session, but that will be the end of the project as far as assembly. And from there, I think what we can do is turn that into a video, and we'll go into doing some work on making it a diorama. I got my minis in. Maybe I should grab those real quick. 1 second. Here we go. I got my scavs in. My 135th. They're written for, it says they were for Stalker, but they are fantastic. Detail on is really nice. I'm fairly certain they came from a recaster, but the quality is good enough. We have a little problem right here, but honestly it's not a huge deal. There is an overhang right here on this guy's throat, so I think their molds are suffering. But the one guy has an AS Val with a like a wrapped handle, and the other guy has the MP144C double barrel shotgun. It'll be a ton of fun. I'm going to slap them in next to the container, and then I've got the PMC models to go on the BTR. Still not 100% sure what the composition is going to be exactly, but either way, we'll get started on it soon. Was great, got some hobby progress myself too. Some bad fitting metal minis are a step closer to being done. Building old Rackham ogres for the Goblin clan. Fuck yeah, dude. Those they look super fun. Might even have to convince you to scan your models in via photogrammetry, and we'll use them in some D&D stuff here on the channel. All right, gentlemen. Y'all have a fucking fantastic Sunday, and I'll be around. Tuesday, we're back at TTRPG Tuesday, continuing to populate the world of Keep on the Borderlands. I think we're just about done listing everything out, and we can start printing things and painting them. Tuesdays, TTRPG Tuesdays are going to be probably paint streams for a little while. As we get that done, because the whole plan is to paint them up and scan them in. We'll have a blast with it. But anyhow, I've been Cameron on behalf of Country Fried Minis. This is Scale Model Sunday, and we'll have more of this next weekend. Catch you guys later. Also, yes, thank you, Mr. Nate, for the push-ups. I will do those.
Yeah. Would you do a workout?
Right now.
Give me 10.
Okay.
I'll do those right now.
Bye, everyone.